ISO down.
Highlight clip playing or something. Yeah. Take it out of studio. Yep. Good job. But how was the blocking? Like, I guess we should go back to that. Welcome inside Checkers Pregame Live, our inaugural episode right here at the Connector at Bojangles Coliseum. My name is TJ Chillot, play-by-play broadcaster, alongside PA announcer Miles Conrad. Thanks for joining us, whether you're watching on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, or perhaps on X. We're happy to have you here. This is our brand new show. We're going to go ahead and get this started 2 hours before every Saturday home game. We're going to give you everything, including in this episode, like some highlights from last night, as well as our thoughts and analysis, maybe some predictions, things along those lines as well. So thanks for joining us. Miles, let's just go ahead and jump right in. What a homecoming for the Charlotte Checkers last night. Look, they start the year 2-0. They're now 3-0 after a huge 5-2 win last night. In a real quick, tiny little nugget, what were your immediate thoughts of that game last night?
Unbelievable. Feels like a whole new team, an unbelievable atmosphere. Checkers fans, you showed up big, and of course, we're hoping another rocking Coliseum tonight. So much to get into from last night, but what an electric.
And pushed up the wall. That was Lockwood, finds Scoot, kicking that one across, back to Lockwood, shot in, he scores! Less than 2 minutes in, and the Checkers strike first as Will Lockwood 1-0.
was a convincing win for the Charlotte Checkers last night. And once again, as we give you a little bit of a recap of the goals and everything, the Checkers get on the board early. It was Will Lockwood, 1 minute and 59 seconds into the game. And Miles, that's the second time in 3 games that the Checkers have gotten the game's first goal in under 2 minutes. So Lockwood's first of the year got things started. After Cleveland ended up tying things, it was all Checkers from then on out. Aiden McDonough with back-to-back power play goals in the first period, his 5th and 6th goals of the season. Puts him atop the AHL standings in that category, assisted by Kyle Criscuolo and Ryan McAllister on both of the goals. And when we talk about Criscuolo, 4 total assists in the game last night. That ties a Charlotte Checkers single game high. Ryan McAllister would end with 3 assists in the game, but we also got some goals in the second period. Oliver Okuliar, he ended up with his first here in the American Hockey League, assisted by Criscuolo and Trevor Carrick. Carrick has himself 2 points in 2 games so far this season. And Sandis Vilmanis, the 5th and final goal for the Charlotte Checkers, his first in the American Hockey League as well. Merrick Alsher, the rookie, getting his first professional point as the primary assist on that goal. The final goal for Cleveland was James Malatesta. So it was 1-1 at one point, then the Checkers jump out to a 5-1 lead, and really there was nothing Cleveland could do to come back. So Miles, let's dive into this game. Aiden McDonough, Kyle Criscuolo, Ryan McAllister, all guys that have really started on fire, none more so than the reigning AHL player of the week, Aiden McDonough. What are your thoughts on him?
Yeah, absolutely. Aiden McDonough, what a absolute spark to this offense. You know, talk about this entire season so far, TJ. This has been a full committee effort from this team, right? We're not having to rely on, a Rasmus Asplund or even, obviously guys that are up with the parent club now. Young guys coming in, making an impact immediately. This offense, Aiden McDonough is in the right place at the right time. The forecheck, we've already talked off air, TJ. The Checkers have established the forecheck from the very beginning, starting last weekend, right? And the offense is just on another level. You look compared to last year, the passing is so crisp this year. Entries into the zone. We'll get to the power play later. What an absolute turnaround that looks like. Special teams on all fronts. Aiden McDonough putting himself in the right spot, and he's being rewarded for his efforts.
And you talk about that passing, I think we just saw it in a highlight pack. Oliver Okuliar, his goal was a prime example of that. I mean, it was a beautiful rebound. Criscuolo knew exactly what he was doing. He was getting it back to Okuliar, who was on that back door, and he pounded it home. I mean, it was simple tic-tac-toe stuff, but it was crisp. They were executing fantastically. And you talk about the forecheck. That was one of my keys to the game last night, was to keep up that forecheck. It's the reason the Checkers lead the league in shorthanded goals. The Checkers have 3 shorthanded goals this year. No other team in the league has 2. In fact, if you were ranking everybody who scored a shorthanded goal so far this year, it would go the Charlotte Checkers team with 3, Rasmus Asplund of the Charlotte Checkers with 2, and then the rest of the American Hockey League is behind them. And it's all because of that strong forecheck, and we saw it last night. And speaking of power play, penalty kill, special teams, once again, fantastic. 2 for 4 last night on the power play. 3 for 3 on the penalty kill. We originally thought maybe they gave up that second goal. We thought maybe it was a power play because it was coming at the end of a kill, but officially the penalty had expired, so it was not a mark against the Checkers penalty kill unit. Again, another special performance from their special teams.
Yeah, absolutely. The penalty kill last year, towards the end of the season, specifically February on, we saw the penalty kill really start to make a run, but the power play, TJ, I mean, my gosh. The entries into the zone, everybody, there looked to be a plan, right? And obviously the power play and special teams in general was a huge teaching point for Jordy Kinnear and the coaching staff this offseason into training camp. And we're seeing the fruits of that, man. I mean, unbelievable. The passing, it's, again, you said tic-tac-toe. That's felt like the entire game was like, oh my gosh, look, he's wide open there. It almost felt like the Checkers, even on the power play, had not just one extra player, maybe 2 or 3 extra guys out there. And again, the speed of this team goes right into that as well.
Well, I'm glad you brought up the speed because I think we can kind of close the book on last night and we can transition into the game that we're getting set to broadcast for you here live from Bojangles Coliseum. And it's honestly, what are we going to see in this game? Well, I've got my Hendrick Acura keys to the game. And my first key to the game, number 1, keep your eyes open. And what I mean by that, Miles, is I think this is going to be a very physical game. We saw the physicality last night. Riley Bezo locking up with Cameron Butler in the first period. We saw a lot of big hits, guys getting blown up in front of their own netminder. I think we're going to see a lot of that again here tonight, but I think it's going to be a little more one-sided in the sense that it's going to be coming from the Cleveland side. They're going to look to do anything they can to rattle this Checkers team, to get them off their game, and I think that's going to be banging the bodies and just playing real physical. The Checkers need to make sure that they keep their eyes open, they don't get caught with their head down, they keep their heads on a swivel, whatever cliche you want, but just kind of keep that in the back of your mind. What are your thoughts?
I totally agree, TJ. We talked as soon as we got here about the physicality we expect tonight. You know, this is a Cleveland team that historically is a very physical team, right? We saw that last year. They make you earn every inch of the ice, and the Checkers earned all of that last night. We're going to get a response tonight. I feel like this is going to be a classic, physical, low-scoring game even. And again, I think that is going to be the Cleveland bounce back. Firstly, I think the Checkers have to score first tonight. Again, just to give a little key of myself, just like last night, you got to start on time, right? You don't want to give Cleveland a big rush early. Slow down their physicality, get on the board first, and ease up that Monsters effort because they're going to be coming tonight.
You're exactly right, especially getting started early. This is a Cleveland team that's going to have their first 5 games on the road. So they certainly need to do what they can to make sure that they start on time. And if they're going up against a Charlotte Checkers team that's got the whole crowd behind them, I think that's going to make it harder. So my second key to the game, every shot is a good shot. And what I mean by that is I'm taking a look right now at the shot map from last night. And if I draw a box from the goal line out to the face-off dot, cross to the face-off dot, and then back to the goal line, 95% of the Charlotte Checkers shots were coming from that high-value area, and that's what I like to see. But they're not all condensed in just that area. You have plenty of opportunities that are coming from all parts of the ice, including along the walls, including sharp angle shots. We saw a couple of opportunities. I believe it was Chris Cuolo who had an opportunity, tried to go short side, ended up hitting the outside of the net. 3 games so far this year, the Checkers have outshot all 3 of their opponents, 3 wins. Do those stats always correlate that way? Of course not, but I do think that shows that the Charlotte Checkers are owning the offensive possession time, and they're really just keeping their foot on the pedal in the offensive end.
Yeah, and a lot of quality shots. Again, you know, we said any shots on goal are good shots, but the quality shots, again, what a level up from past seasons with this Checkers team. Again, you look at that shot map, that is Jordy Kinnear's dream of getting that many opportunities and chances in the most prime spots. And the Checkers, not only, I mean, we saw how many games last year the Checkers would have 40 shots on goal and end with 1 goal, right?
That's right.
Where not only, you know, they are scoring, but in bunches. We had a 7-goal performance. We had the 3-goal. Last night, a 5-goal. I mean, they are getting to the right spots. That's what you need to do to beat a good team like this Cleveland team. Because again, let's not push them down. This is a fantastic Cleveland Monsters team. The Checkers handled business last night.
My third and final key, speed kills. And obviously, I mentioned it a little bit earlier, this is one of the fastest Charlotte Checkers teams that I've had the pleasure of broadcasting games for. And it kind of sounds like just an easy, low-hanging fruit thing to say, yeah, you know, use your speed. But I truly think in a game where we talked about, we think it's going to be physical, you've got to use your speed to counteract that.
Yes.
They can't hit what they can't catch.
Right.
And last night we saw a couple of opportunities where the Checkers' speed, especially in the defensive zone, helped them out. Because as the puck's working its way towards the blue line, as Cleveland's trying to get it to the point, the Checkers are there to intercept. They can go on a break without even trying. We got a couple of odd man rushes last night. We had a breakaway opportunity last night. And again, looking back to last year, I don't recall them being the team that was going to beat you because of the odd man rushes or the breakaways. So it's new this year for the Charlotte Checkers to have that kind of speed, and I think that's going to be huge. They have to not only, obviously, when you're fast, everybody wants to play as fast as they can possibly play, but it's using that speed in the right context to really work to your advantage.
And this team has speed from top to bottom, from first line to fourth line. Obviously, we saw that with Will Lockwood last night. The breakaway speed that he's garnered just this past offseason. I mean, we talked about before we went on the air. It was like one half second, he has a defender right on. The next second, he's 4 player lengths ahead of him. The speed is so critical for this team because not just the forecheck we talked about, but the breakout. TJ, I don't know if you noticed last night, but the breakouts were so clean, and it just instantly sparked the offense every time the Checkers regained possession. That was a huge marker in my mind last night was, man, the breakout into the forecheck. I mean, it was phenomenal from the Checkers.
So one more time, and we'll go ahead and show you those on screen, my keys to the game. Keep your eyes open. Every shot is a good shot, and speed kills. So, as we take a look off the ice here tonight, Bojangles Coliseum is going to be rocking. We know it. It's my first Checkers game. $5 kids tickets still available. CharlotteCheckers.com. Head on over there, pick up your tickets. Also, for $10, you can get a mini stick and ball set and add to it. For $15, you're getting a ticket for your child, and you're giving them something to go home with. You're not going to find a much better deal than that. But, Miles, we've got some other things going on at the Coliseum. Why don't you tell us a little bit about those?
Lots of great things. First of all, obviously North Carolina, we're still dealing with hurricane relief efforts, and the Checkers are doing our part here. Donate $25 and you get a ticket to the October 26th game. That's a $25 donation. You get a ticket for that. Got a lot more going on, TJ. It's college night, first college night of the year.
Always fun.
Absolutely. You get tickets start at $19.50. Go online with your college email address. We've got other things, TJ. We love our teachers and school staffs. It's Teacher and School Appreciation Night tonight. So many things going on, TJ. And it's still opening weekend presented by Novant Health. So much fun going on here.
Everything all wrapped up in a tight little biscuit, if you will.
Absolutely.
If you can't make it, join us. AHL TV on Flow Hockey is where you can watch the live video stream. Plus, you can listen thanks to our flagship station.
Only the fourth time in Checkers AHL history they've started 3-0-0. In 2022 to the 23 season, they were 4-0-0. And you look back to that Calder Cup season, they started 5-0-0. So a little thing to keep in your hat, Checkers fans. Started off great, and we'll see how these trends look down the season.
So far, the Checkers have played 3 different teams. They've gotten 3 W's. This is the first time that they're going to see a team for the second consecutive night. I'm curious to see how this game goes. I'm curious to see, because look, know thy opponent, right?
Yes.
Know thy enemy. And after one full game, 60 minutes, these two teams know each other pretty well. I don't think we're going to have a lot of changes on the lines, maybe 1 or 2 here and there. I think Cleveland's going to shake things up, but it's going to be a great game. CharlotteCheckers.com, the place to get your tickets. $5 kids tickets for our my first Checkers game. We also have our college night with tickets starting at $19.50. Teacher and School Employee Appreciation Night. Plus, we've got the donations going to the hurricane relief. Get you a free ticket for next weekend's game, because we're right back here at the Bojangles Coliseum next weekend. And we've got another episode of Checkers Pregame Live next weekend as well. So join us on Saturday. We're going to be on the air at 4. Join us, and then come on in for a great time. Well, for Miles Conrad, TJ Chillot, our producer, Justice Wallace, thank you so much for joining us. Make sure you head to CharlotteCheckers.com, get those tickets, and if you can't be here, catch the game tonight with me on AHL TV on Flow Hockey.
Let's go, Checkers.